Pratnam. Somebody asked me if we are going to be demonstrating or doing Kama Sutra poses. So first of all, please allow me to explain to you my qualification to do this workshop. I have not done a PhD in a university or a Kama Sutra. I am 49 years old and my love for books began around the time I started earning money, which was at the age of 13. And I would buy a lot of books. I would literally spend all the money I made, almost all of it, either on books or on learning different kind of courses. And I would just enter the bookshop and I would attack. I would just pick up books and pick up books, and fill up like cartons, go home. By the end of it, I had thousands of books. But one of the subjects, even at the age of 14 and 15, that caught my attention was the spirituality of sex. So the Kama Sutra, the Chinese text, the Japanese text, the ancient text written 3 BCE, I don't even know what the E means, but centuries ago, how relevant they are today, how they affect us, how they affect our health, and today, most importantly, what we will discuss about how they affect our aura. Because as a Kundalini Yoga teacher, for me, the focus of everything that I do, my purpose, my life purpose, is to make sure that you understand the meaning of an aura, how important it is, and how to expand it. So to that extent, every Kundalini Yoga class of mine is focused on expanding your aura. And just to give you a 2-minute explanation about the aura, and a very simple way to explain it. You can have 3 people in a room, somebody walks in, and nobody notices that person. That's a zero aura. You can have 1,000 people in a room, somebody walks in, and everybody turns to look at that person. That's a beautiful aura. It's radiant. It's not because he's wearing a Louis Vuitton jacket or Gucci shoes or some stupid watch. Nothing to do with that. It's the aura. It's the radiance. So as a Kundalini Yoga teacher, that's what I focus on. And the one thing I've understood, the reason why I requested for this subject to be introduced in the Bali Spirit Festival for me as a presenter to teach, is because how relevant and how critically important it is for us to understand that the way we look at sex in our life, the way we have sex in our life, our attitude towards sex in our life, it defines our whole life. It defines our aura. It defines about how radiant we are or how depleted we are. So before we begin, we just tune into the class and we do a short meditation. We start with Om Namo Gurudev Namo 3 times. O-N-G Om Namo Gurudev Namo. The hands together. Hands from the heart. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale to begin. Okay. Before I got involved with Kundalini Yoga and the way radically changed my life, I was as big of a shithead as you can imagine. There's nothing that I didn't do. From smoking 3 packets of cigarettes a day to being known as a finesser of single malt. I even had a poker room in my house. We used to play poker 5 days a week. And if I tell you the stakes that we used to play, you get a heart attack. Bizarre. Now I did all of that and more. At the age of 25, we went for a friend of mine's bachelor party to Barcelona. We all know what that is about. So, 7 of the biggest surnames that exist in Indian industrial society, 7 of them and me, we all go together to Barcelona. We had this big penthouse. And I'm exhausted from the trip. So I'm relaxing. These guys go clubbing. The first night. They come back. Now this is about 24 years ago, okay? They come back with 16 women. Beautiful. They wake me up. Wake up. What? You got 16 girls? Oh shit. Come. And my friends, they just know how particular I am about everything. About the wine I drink, about the food I eat. I'm really particular. If I don't like it, I will go hungry. I will not eat. I will not have the wine. If I don't like it, I'm not doing it. They said, there's 16 girls. You go out there, you choose whatever you like. First, you choose. And then we will all start having fun. So from my sleep, I just, wake up. Spoke, hi, ¿cómo estás? And after about 10 minutes, I went to my friend. I said, I'm going to sleep. I didn't like any of it. He said, what? Are you mad? How can you not like any of 6 from 16? Not even one? I said, no, I didn't like any of it. Why am I telling you this? One of the most important aspects of our aura, our glow, is our choice of partners that we choose to have sex. It can totally destroy you, or it can take you to another dimension, another level of consciousness. If you are with a negative energy, with a toxic energy, it can finish you off. Sex is a wonderful thing. It's actually one of the ways to superconscious. It's one of the routes and one of the paths you can follow. But if you don't understand it that way, and if you just use the correct word to make you understand, if you just go and fuck, it's not going to get you anywhere. You either understand the spirituality of sex or you don't understand it. Though I was a young, hot-headed, hot-blooded, totally decadent, whatever you can imagine in your head, what a shithead would look like or feel like or do at the age of 25. Even then, intuitively, I knew could not and did not want to share my body with something that it did not resonate. Out of the 2 most important things in this workshop today that I want to share with you is this. That sex is beautiful. Sex will take you to another level of consciousness, take you towards divinity, but it all depends upon how specific and particular about the choice of partner. If you dive into bed with something you met at the bar, and you don't know the energy, you don't know where it's coming from, if you're not sensitive to that energy, I'll tell you how sensitive I am to energy. Just to give you an example about my sensitivity to energy. About 6-7 years ago, I'm entertaining 2 friends of mine from Russia, the supermodels working with the elite agency. And I tell them, okay, now this is the last nightclub in Mumbai, and there's nothing else after this. And it's going to shut at 3 o'clock. This is 2 o'clock, so we have 1 hour, enjoy. So we enter, and then we go to the bar, and we order our drinks. Now we've just ordered the drinks, and the hair at the back of my neck stood up, and I had goosebumps all over my body. And I immediately turned around. There was a group of 6 or 7 guys who had just walked. I just looked at them. I turned to my friend. I said, listen, we gotta go. And he said, what? We just came in. It's the best club here, and we just love it. We shouldn't go. No, you can't go. Why? What happened? Now, to talk about aura, energy to something, everybody doesn't understand it. So you don't even try to explain it to most people. It's okay to talk about it at the Bali Spirit Festival. In a day-to-day conversation with normal people, forget about it. So I said, listen, just trust me. Let's go. No, okay, just 5 minutes. Okay, I said, you know what, you stay, I'm going. So I started paying the bill. The guy who's taken my order, he said, but his order not even come. I said, I want to pay and go, do you mind? And I've given the credit card. In the meantime, while this 30 seconds happened, one of the guys took off his shirt and started dancing. So 4 bouncers came to stop him. One of the other guys took out a gun. 10 more bouncers came. Now, nobody knew that these guys had 15 bodyguards now. They were from some political background. Those 15 bodyguards worked. That negativity of that energy was so strong that you don't even need to see the person. You don't even need to have a direct confrontation. If that energy is negative, I was shooting for a show 3 or 4 years ago. And in this huge studio, the massive studio, I'm talking to somebody here and I could feel this big black blob walking. It's like a ball, big black ball walking. And I turn and they say, oh, this guy's playing your brother in the show. And shit. And then for the next 1 year, I had to be working with him. And I cannot tell you what a torture it was for me. I just run. You see, you want to preserve, what I'm trying to get at is you have to preserve your aura at any cost, no matter what it takes. Do you know in India, we don't shake hands, we do namaste. Why? Is it because we're not civilized? No. It's because we don't want to pass on the energy. You go to a party, you shake hands with 100 people, you're finished, you're depleted. You do namaste, you're fine. Right? That's how important energy is in reality to all of us. So, coming back to Barcelona, intuitively, even without studying the subject of spirituality and sex and the connection with it, I knew intuitively, even then, that I would not share my body with something that I'm not comfortable with or in tune with or in sync with. And that's the whole point we all need to understand. It's not about jumping into bed and having a great time. It's about sharing the energy. And that energy, just for your information, stays with you for 7 years. You need to work for 7 years to take out that toxicity. It's that powerful. You shake hands with somebody bad, you can go home, put some rock salt in a bucket, have a bath. Or go to the sea, there's a lot of salt in it, the sea's got naturally salt, some more than the others. You dive into the sea for 10 minutes, you're fine. But you have sex with somebody, 7 years of hard work to get rid of that entanglement, spiritual entanglement. You cannot be more careful about what you cohabit. You cannot be more careful. You have it's a crucial important. I wouldn't even have wine that I don't like. They threw a party for me once in Lithuania. There were 20 people. I had gone to Lithuania, they threw a party. They all know I love wine. They got wine and everybody orders the wine, they open. And then after 20 minutes, the host tells me on the table in front of everyone, you're not having a wine. I thought you loved wine. Now if you lie, you get into a downward spiral, right? I said, I'm sorry, I didn't like the wine. There's no other way to do it. I'm sorry, I didn't like it. Oh shit, you didn't like the wine. Get another bottle, get another bottle. You open another bottle. Then I took a sip of it. Sorry, I didn't like it. And then they opened a third one. I said, listen, there's no need. I'm okay if I don't have it. They opened a third one. I said, you know what? I have a single one. It's okay. I can have a single one. And then they gave me a list of single ones. Talisker 10, Lafroy 10. I don't have 10. I'm into either 20, 25, 30 and above. Nothing less than that. I'm not going to have something to get drunk. I want to enjoy it like a poetry. Now, if I'm that particular about what goes into my body, I'm 100 times more particular about what body I go in. And your choice of food reflects inadvertently about your choice of sex. Do you know that? Like I have a friend, actually one of those 7 monkeys who we went to Barcelona with. Yeah. So we're in Bangkok and we're walking on the road and he looks at this lady selling some meat on the skewer on the road. And he says, oh, that looks good. I want to have it. I said, are you mad? I said, this could be rat meat. I don't care. I want to eat it. And he ate it. I couldn't even watch. What do you think is his choice of sexual power? What do you think? How particular do you think is how he's going to imagine and think and be careful about who he has sex? He doesn't give a shit. He sees a skirt and he dives inside like a swimming pool. It doesn't matter to him. Your choice of food defines and is a direct pointer to how careful and particular you are about your choice of sexual partner. Always keep that in mind. Your aura, the size of it, the luminosity of it, the radiance of it, is defined by how you choose your sexual partner, whether that energy is on the same wavelength as you or not. When you are on the same wavelength, then the magic begins. When you are on the same evolutionary path, the same color of the aura, everything is the same, or if your partner is higher, always can find somebody who's on a higher state of energy, then the magic, then the whole process of spirituality in sex, right? Okay, I'm going to show you a mudra now, which is really good for sex life. So what we're going to do is, it's called the Linga Mudra. You just get your hands together, close, and the left thumb goes up. You're just going to do it for like 3 or 4 minutes and see how you feel. Put it in front of you, the spine is really straight. Okay, some of you have got it wrong, so I'm going to do it again. You close, and the left thumb is inside the circle. You touch these 2 fingers together, and you put it in the front, and the thumb is erect, straight up. It's not like this. Up. Your eyes are closed, and just feel the energy, just the subtle energy that this mudra creates for you. You can do this any time of the day. There's no timing for it. 10 minutes to 15 minutes is what is recommended. We're just doing it for 3. It's called the Linga Mudra. If you want to know the literal translation of Linga, it means penis. The mudras are really powerful tools that we have at our disposal for healing our body, our mind, and the soul. And this Linga Mudra is really good for anything to do with sexual healing, sexual energy, the spirituality of sex, everything. This is like one of the most powerful. We're going to do one more later on. Okay, we covered the aura part of it and how your choice of partner defines. I'll take questions in a bit. It defines you, your aura, and whether your aura is shining because of how careful you've been and everything else that you do, or it depletes. It keeps cutting into the aura. Every time you make a mistake, it cuts until you have nothing. Now, the other aspect of sexuality and the spirituality of sexuality is how mindful you are and how aware you are in the act itself. You just go, boom, have a nice orgasm and finish. Unfortunately, more than 60 to 70% do it like that. Or are you aware that there is something called breath control, being aware of the breath when you're making love? There's also in the Chinese text, there are thrusts in which they are very specific. 3 deep, 1 shallow. And then after some time, after like 5 or 10 minutes, 9 deep, 1 shallow. So even that is measured in the Kama Sutra and the Chinese text. The breath is of crucial importance. And the most important thing that I want to tell you here today is, which chakra are you having your orgasm from? If you are having your orgasm from the base, from the root chakra, what you have done is you've gone, finished, and over, and you're done with it. Now the Chinese text and the Kama Sutra are very clear about one thing. If you have the inclination to finish, if you're about to have your orgasm, and if you were to control yourself at that point for those few seconds, maybe 10, maybe 15, maybe 20, depending on the body that you have, then you elevated it to the next chakra. And again, then you begin again. And you last for another 5 or 6 minutes or whatever it is. And then again you reach the point where you're going to have your orgasm. And if you are able to control it again, you elevate it to the 3rd chakra. And then to the 4th, and then to the 5th, and then to the 6th. And eventually you are having an orgasm out of your Sahasrara chakra. What it does to you, how it heals you, how it heals your aura, how it heals your whole life, I cannot put it strongly enough. is just one of the most magical things about sex. Just being aware and mindful of the whole beauty of it, everything that goes into it. For example, when you are having the orgasm, a lot of people are just screaming and shouting and just not knowing what you're doing, right? But when you are inside, and if your lips are locked, and your breath, the yin and the yang is getting mixed together and intermingling and getting exchanged. At that point, when you are aware of the spirituality, when you are having that kind of spiritual sex, at that point of orgasm, with that awareness, you are directly connecting to the divine every single time. Even if you're having it every day of your life, you are connecting with divinity and whatever it represents every time, without fail. It never does not happen. How mindful are you of your breath, of the thrust, of the whole emotion of it? How much you love the partner in front of you? What affection and emotion you have towards that partner? Everything comes together, and at the end of the day, if you are able to control the ejaculation, if you are able to control the orgasm, just a little bit, up to that point, you are able to have an orgasm from the 6th or the 7th, or even from the heart chakra. Better than the root chakra. Root chakra is nothing, it's animal sex. Dogs do it, cats do it, elephants do it, donkeys do it. How does it matter? So irrelevant. And that, the base one, the root one, is just a waste of energy, because in the Kama Sutra and in Ayurveda, both, it's very specifically written and given in very strong words that your semen is made up of ojas. It's made up of dhatus, which are really crucial for your body. So they say, doctors, the modern science will tell you, oh, it doesn't matter. You can have sex 5 times a day also. Semen is replenished. Like blood. Now you tell that idiot doctor, can you give blood 5 times a day? You're supposed to give blood once a month, maximum. Right? Maybe once in 2 months. So yes, semen is replenishable like blood, but it's not wise to just waste it. You just can't just throw it out and say, oh, it's going to be replenished. It's precious. In fact, in the Kundalini practices, in the ancient traditional practices, which are so sacred that they're not even passed on to anybody who's a student, that teacher will decide who to give it to. In those practices, the sperm is pushed up from the channel, from the Ida Pingla Shushumna, and it's taken up to the, and that's how the Kundalini is awakened to the highest level of possibility that you can imagine. That's how precious your semen is. You can't just throw it out. And just a side dish for you, just for like a small knick-knack. You never waste it on a tissue paper. You always make sure it goes eventually into water. This is really important. It's something which is alive. You don't just let it out anywhere in some cloth, some tissue paper and throw it in the bushes. You make sure it goes eventually into water. So you never just waste your ojas. It's a life force. In Ayurveda and in the Kama Sutra, it's given as a life force. You just don't throw it around. You don't waste it. It's precious. Okay, now I take a question.
I was just going to ask with the Linga Mudra, right? Does it matter, like, when you do the interlocking fingers, some people do it with the right thumb on top, some people do it with the left thumb on top.
No, I only know it this way, when the left thumb is on top. I don't do it any other way, I don't teach it any other way. Just do it with the left thumb.
Does it matter, you think?
I would imagine it matters, because if it didn't matter intuitively, I would do this. See, a lot of the things that I do in my life and also what I teach is intuitive. If it would not matter, I would be okay with it. But I've never been comfortable doing it with the right thumb up. I've always been comfortable doing this. It just feels natural.
I think some people, it's like 10% of people are left-handed, right? So I think for some people it's intuitive to go the other way.
If you're left-handed, yeah.
Right.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about if you can orgasm yourself to reach that? Because I can do that to myself.
Beautiful.
Are you getting the same
Beautiful.
amount of like?
To answer your question, it's really important. To answer your question, one of the most sexually repressed societies for any reason, and I'm sorry if there are any Chinese people here, are the Chinese. So I teach a lot in China, and I see a lot of people sitting in my class, like at the workshop that I do, and I can see how sexually repressed they are, like crushed sexually. They have no idea what's happening. Even though, as I said, and again, even India is to a large extent, but the Chinese have got it a little twisted somewhere. Something has gone wrong, really, really wrong. They're beautiful people. I go every year to teach. I go twice a year sometimes to China. But they need a lot of healing, and sexual healing is really important. It's one of the most important, most powerful, and the most potent forms of healing. So there in my workshop, they say, but what do I do? You're saying it's important, but my husband and me have not had sex for 25 years. What do I do? I say, do you have a gym? Yes. Do you go to the gym? Yeah. You are good looking trainers? Yeah. Do it. What? And they shake and they're like so traditional and so, oh, what are you saying? And in front of 300, 400 people, how can you talk like that? You need sex! You have to have sex. Unless you choose to become celibate, you reach that point of consciousness, you reach that height of evolution. So my dear friend asked me last night, she said, do you do yoga every day? I said, no. I play tennis every day. Why don't you do yoga every day? You're a yoga teacher. I said, because I don't need to. I'm breathing yoga now. I'm at a stage of consciousness where now, instead of sitting every morning and doing my practice, I am doing it the whole day. From the time I wake up in the morning to the time I'm going to sleep, everything, every breath I take is with consciousness. I don't need to sit and do a practice. Similarly, the orgasm part of it. If you're not getting it from here or there, you have to find it. Of course, coming back to point number 1, that gym trainer has to have good energy. You just say, oh, this is a hot body, good trainer. Come on, let's go. Come on. No. Make sure that the energy is right. Right? So, masturbation, self-orgasm, beautiful, perfect. Again, same principle applies. First chakra, or if you control, you keep going higher, and then you have an orgasm from the 7th chakra. But it's a very valid way of keeping a sexual energy alive. The healing aspect of your sexuality alive. There's nothing wrong with it. Perfectly fine. Because the ones who come to me and say, oh, but I have a problem with the gym trainer thing, I don't agree with that philosophy. I said, okay, then learn to do it yourself. What? Really? No. Believe me, trust me, do it. Just make sure you get it somewhere or the other. Yeah, sorry, you want to answer.
I came across that opinion, theory that for women it's even more particular what sexual partner, what energy we're getting inside, just because the way we're built that we are receiving. So
I agree with you. For women, it's much more important than men. Much more important than men about what energy you're having an exchange with. Really important.
Is it true that you might receive the energy of the past partners of the man that is passing?
If the man's past partners are toxic, then he has to be toxic. So you're making a mistake in the first place in the choice of the You can feel it. You feel it. You feel the energy. It's so easy. Just run. Run away. No matter how good looking he is, he could be a supermodel, he could be anything. Just run. Not interested. Okay, just one more side dish, one more knick-knack. During a period, it's perfectly fine to have sex, but you have to be on top. According to the Kama Sutra, it's really clearly given that you never allow the blood to flow back in when you're making love. The blood has to, so you are on top, the blood has to flow down always when you're making love. While you're making love during a period, the blood has to keep flowing down. You don't go on your back and allow the blood to go back in. That's a side dish. Next question. Yeah.
What's the best way to purge from like negative sexual energy from past partners? Like you said, it lasts for 7 years. Can you purge or get rid of it?
Kundalini Yoga.
What about plant-based medicines like happy and stuff? Do you think that works?
Sorry?
Plant-based medicines like happy.
What is that?
Medicine.
I like ayahuasca.
Yeah, ayahuasca and happy.
Yeah, ayahuasca would help. I've never done it, but I've seen some of the faces and I've read some of the energies of these people who've done ayahuasca and I'm really impressed. I might do it one day. I think if I find the right shaman, somebody who's authentic, I think I will do it. And yes, that would be a good way to purge that negativity out. You made the mistake. You couldn't do my class before. This is the first time you did it. Now you've done it in the past. You have to get it out. But I have to tell you, Kundalini Yoga really helps. Whatever negativity is there, whatever is wrong with the aura, to repair that aura, to build that aura again, to make it new again. See, the thing is, when you're born, you're like this beautiful, beautiful white flower. You're perfect. Every cell in your body is perfect to look at. It's incredible. It's like a miracle of nature. How perfect you are at that time. And then you grow up. And then the parents tell us, oh, that man coming to give you chocolate, never take chocolate from somebody you don't know. And you have to be rich, you have to be successful, you have to be famous. And I see this little kid, this tall, and these so-called educated parents coming in their Ferraris and Bentleys and what have you, and these educated parents egging the child, come on, Ray, you come first, come on, and you're conditioning the child to fail in life from the very beginning by making sure that the child thinks and believes that coming first is the most important thing in life. My daughter, in that same race, was told that I'm going to watch you. I'm going to look at you. And if I don't see you having fun, I'm going to be very upset. And if I see that you're having fun, I'm going to take you for a pizza. And that little one, they say, ready, on your mark, get set, go. Everybody starts running. She starts running in the opposite side. And she's dancing. I take her for a pizza. The first book I've written, see, I plan to write like 30, 40 books. So the first book that I had to start with, what is the first subject I want to write? It's called Raising My Daughter. Because the way we raise our children defines humanity. We are raising our children wrong. Humanity is where it is today because people are messed up in the head. I was led to believe success is important. I was led to believe fame is important. Money is important. Wealth is important. And I got all of it. I became an actor. I was signing autographs every day. I got a lot of money. And what happened to me? Oh, that's messed up as you can even imagine. Spirituality is the only way out. And the way we raise our children is the only way to go. And back to the first book that I had to write. Okay, Pragunta, yes.
In the tantra communities in the U.S., people are very proud of that ejaculating in years or in months. In other words, withholding ejaculation. How do you feel about that?
No, I didn't understand the question. I'm sorry.
The idea of withholding ejaculation completely over months or a year.
Okay, that's really important. I'm glad you asked me this because you see, what made me a teacher eventually is I used myself as a guinea pig. And I experimented with a lot of shit. With food, for example, I went without any food, just on water for like 7 days. I lived on vegetables, juices and fruit juices for 4 months. That, by the way, destroyed my gut and my whole body, and I'm still dealing with it. 20 years before I did it, I'm still dealing with it. I've experimented a lot. Now, this is one of the things I experimented. Especially there's a teacher called Mantak Chia, if you Google him. Now, the thing is, they don't specify one stupid thing. Really, I get so angry why they don't specify it. They say you withhold ejaculation. Okay. Now, even I said it's very important to control the sperm and to not just let it go freely whenever you feel like, okay, blood is replenished. No. What they don't tell you is that you don't reach that, if the final point when you want to have an orgasm, when you want to come, and then stop and say, okay, baby, we'll see you tomorrow. No, that's a disaster. You are actually messing with your Kundalini. You're actually, I'm so glad you asked me that question. You're actually messing with your Kundalini. If you reach that point where the scum is reached, for lack of a better word, your balls. Okay, and if it's reached that point where it's about to be released, and if then you stop, and for the next 1 day or 2 days, it goes up the wrong channel.